This morning, we are taking a look at the summer blues. Summertime is usually associated with uplifting things like warm weather and school vacations. It's kind of nice, no school vacations or no school. But it can also be a time of stress and seasonal depression. Research shows up to 20% of Americans experience a condition known as seasonal affective disorder in the summer. So what can you do to manage the summer stress? Dr. Sue Varma has some tips. She is a board-certified psychiatrist and clinical assistant professor of psychiatry at NYU. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Doctor, I have to say, I understand this very well because I've suffered from it. And you don't expect it to happen to you in the moment. But not knowing that that's what I was dealing with, what is it specifically, and what should you be looking out for?
Yes. So when people typically think of seasonal affective disorder, they're thinking of the winter blues or winter depression. What they don't realize is that in the summertime, you can have what's called like this activation or irritability type of syndrome, where instead of sleeping a lot or eating a lot, as people did in the winter blues or winter depression, we find that they're very activated, agitated. Sometimes the mood might be good, sometimes they might be productive, but sometimes not. And it can be very jarring for people.
Especially those around you.
Yeah,
Yes.
You also say the stress can be tied to the fear of missing out on all the activities other people are doing. I used to love living in San Francisco because it would be foggy for a portion of every day, and you would like the bullying effect of sunshine, where you're like, I have work to do, but you feel like everybody else is outside having a good time.
Yes.
Right.
You know, summertime puts a lot of pressure on us to do what other people are doing, or feeling like we should have planned something. And with all the uncertainty, economic problems that people are having, they're not wanting to spend a lot of money on vacations. And yet they're swiping through their feeds, and they're seeing people traveling all over the place and having a great time.
Yeah.
So you feel like there's more pressure to do things. Plus, you've lost a lot of the built-in support systems that you might have had if you're a family of young children, and you might have had childcare during the year. You don't have that now. So there's more pressure to do things.
I didn't think about that. The fear of missing out is right at your fingertips,
Yes.
in your face every single moment.
Yes.
That's a great point. So how do you manage this type of stress during the
Yes.
summer, or what type of tips would you give to people?
Yeah, so first thing I would say is be realistic, right, about what your expectations are for yourself, for other people. Managing expectations is a big part of it. Parking your perfectionism on the side and say, you know what, good.
Parking your perfection.
Yes, and I would say that planning ahead, preparing. I always like to keep a little travel bag that has an extra set of toiletries, travel chargers, things like that. Doing a little bit day by day, whether it's the laundry, preparing kids for camp, getting those lists ahead of time, but also leaning into the beauty of summer. Look, for a lot of people, heat can be very difficult. People who are elderly, extremes of age, people with medical problems. We know that suicide rates go up in the summertime because of the agitation, the irritability, the insomnia, the lack of sleep for people who
It's a
have
very
a history.
consistent finding. It's always surprising to hear, but it's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So obviously getting help if you need it, right? Professional help, seeking counseling, medication. A lot of times people with the seasonal affective disorder might have a history of, or personal history or family history of bipolar disorder. So getting help. And at the same time, leaning into the beauty of summer, parks, walking in the sun, and grounding, forest, and water.
Nature.
Yeah, all of that, which
Nature.
I do. I tell you, you have something you call the Martyr Complex. Explain that for us.
Yes. So the Martyr Complex is this idea of resenting other people for choices that you make. There's a victimhood involved. There is people-pleasing. There's self-sacrificing, that I'm overextending myself and I'm doing this because I want to be a martyr. I want to get complimented for it. And I want to get noticed for it. And I would say, like, decrease that a little bit.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, check yourself, and say, who am I doing this for? What are the accolades? Is anyone really appreciating what I'm doing? Does it have to be a homemade meal? Does it have to be a 7-course meal?
Yeah.
Why and for who?
But if
You're
you're
speaking to my spirit right now, Doc.
but if you're not the martyr and you say stop being a martyr to your
Yeah,
family
you
member,
can't
it's
say
an
that.
argument. You can't say
Oh,
that.
no,
The
you
martyr
can't
has to
say
see
that.
the graphic themselves.
Yeah. You're living with the
Thanks for
martyr.
creating that distinction. I feel you, though. I know what
I'm
you're
just
saying.
saying, I may or may not know. It's not Katie, by the way.
Everything all right at home?
No, it's not Katie. Okay, no, not
You,
Katie.
you show your gratitude, you show your appreciation for the martyr, and you and just be very kind and say, no, you're coming from a loving place. I know you want to take care of us.
And you say breathe.
Yes.
Just breathe.
Yes, just breathe. Sounds so simple. If we have a second, I'd love to do it with you right now. I'd say close your eyes, inhaling to the count of 5, maintaining it, and then exhaling to the count of 5.
Oh, I love it.
Great
Dr.
stuff.
Sue Varma, always giving us good
Dropping
advice.
knowledge.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.